Hi, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So what we're going to be doing today is show you how to cut a pencil skirt, short pencil skirt actually. And what we'll be using to do this tutorial today is of course a fabric. We'll be needing a ruler, we'll be needing a tape roll, a chalk and a scissors. So the first thing we do is to determine how much fabric we'll be using at every step of the way. This is for you. This helps you to manage your fabric so you don't end up wasting too much of your fabric. So the thing we do to determine this is to divide the largest part of our body, which is the hip, by 4. And I'm using my measurement today. My hip is 42 and then I divide it by 4. It gives me 10 and a half. And after that division you add 2 inches allowance, so that'll be giving us 12 and a half inches, and then you fold. So this is about 13, this is 13, and yeah, this is 13. So we are just going to leave it at that since we have this industrial hem and we wouldn't be needing that part really. So after doing that, we place our tape on the base, which is the beginning of the fabric, to take the measurements. The first measurement we're going to be taking is the hip line. The base obviously is going to be the waistline, so there is no point for measuring that part. The line is almost even, so I would definitely know that that's my waistline. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my hip line measurement, my knee line measurement, and then the full length of the skirt. And then in this tutorial we are going to be taking 8 inches as our hip line. That's because this skirt is a banded skirt, so we use 9 inches as a hip line for a bandless skirt. A skirt we don't have to attach a band, we use 9 inches as the hip line, but by the time we are adding or attaching a band, we use 8 inches as the hip line. So for every measurement you do vertically, it's advised that you always add half inch because you'll be holding it at the base by half an inch. So you are advised to add a half inch, because when you accidentally don't add this half, you might be short of half an inch, which might affect your measurement. So half inch plus half length plus the 8 inches hip line will give us 8.5. So we'll mark that 8 inches. The knee line is 17 plus half gives us 17.5, and then the full length of this short skirt is 25, so I'm adding 1 inch allowance to it, folding allowance actually to it, and it's 26. Okay, so on a normal day I just add 1 inch to my skirts for the folding allowance when I'm using lining. But for this skirt, since it's kind of elastic, or it's kind of stretchy rather, I wouldn't want to add a lining, so I would be adding 2 inches for folding. So instead of giving us 26, it will be giving us 27 as the length. And then I do the same this way. I like to do the same this way so I'll be able to get a straight line. So I mark out the 8.5, mark out 7.5, and then mark out the 27. Then connect my lines. So the first thing after taking your vertical measurement, now you're going to take your circumference measurement, which is your waist, your round waist, your round hip, and whatever you're going to be doing at the knee length. So that will be our waist divided by 4. My waist is 32 divided by 4 will be giving us 8 inches. So 8 inches, and we are going to add 2 inches for allowance. 1 inch is for dart allowance, and then 1 inch is for sewing allowance. So that will be 8 inches. The hip is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5 plus the 2 inches allowance. That'll be 12.5. And then for us to be able to get our round knee, the formula I use is that I minus 6 inches from my hip line, and then divide by 4, and then add the normal 2 inches allowance. So my hip is 42, the minus 6 will give us 36. 36 divided by 4 will give us 9 inches plus the 2 inches sewing allowance. That will be 11. Now all we need to do is connect. So I like to use, since I don't have the hip curve, I like to use the ruler before I use my free hand later on. So after doing that, so it doesn't give me that sharp feeling. So I do that, and of course whatever you mark on your knee line is what you're going to mark on your full length. So this is 11, right? 11 inches. I'm going to mark the same on the full length, which is 11 inches. Then I'm going to connect the line as well. So the next thing is I'm going to cut. So yeah, the fabric, it's been cut, and then I already placed it on the back fabric. So to get the back fabric, the first thing we're going to be doing is take the waist measurement. So for the waist measurement, I take in 1/2 inch. So normally when I say I take in 1/2 inch, I do my measurement from the fold on top. So I take in the 1/2 inch from inside. So I place the tape like so, and take out the 1/2 inch like that. I extend the hip line measurement out like that, and then for the hip line I take out 1.5 inch like so, right? On the knee line I take out 1/2 inch, same thing I did for the waist. Now the reason for all this marking is to create the bum bum sit. That's what I normally call it. So we know our butt is not flat, and also it's not right. You're not going to get the perfect shape if you decide to cut a straight zip allowance. So it's always good to create that sit for your butt, so your butt can sit in perfectly. Okay, so you do this. Once you do this, your butt would fit into your fabric perfectly, and then the thing you're going to do is connect. Okay, so if you're not so good with connection, I advise you just use the ruler, and then after doing that you can smoothen it out, and then connect this other part to the knee line as well, like so. So this part becomes kind of tricky, not so tricky, it's something you can do. So if you want that overlapping, then this is where you extend your markings out. So when you extend your markings out and open here, then you have that overlapping slit. But a situation where you just want your slit to be straight down, you don't want the overlapping, then you do the same measurements you did backwards here, which is the 1/2 inch you took out. You do the same at the full length as well, and then just connect to your full length But if you want the overlapping slit, then you don't need to do this. You just need to extend your knee line measurements out, and then you cut this way and open this way for the overlapping slit. So I'm going to cut through so you see. Right. And yeah, we're done with the cutting of the pencil skirts. So this is what it looks like at the end. And then all you need to do is take it to your sewing machine and sew. So this is how to cut a pencil skirt. Thank you very much for stopping by, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.